There's so much conversation about religion today. In fact, our entire country's conversation today is about religion, the politics of religion, and how each of us are feeling either that our religion is being valued or not valued or respected. We're almost close to changing the very fabric of our country based on the religion or our sense of religion. But really, more than asking which religion that we are from, or even when filling forms, or even when we are questioned, maybe these are the very critical questions that we can actually ask about religion. Every one of us should be asked, and the answers would probably reveal a lot about us and our own views towards what we think means a lot to us, which is religion. These are 24 questions that I suggest that you ask yourself or ask others to get you thinking. Question number 1. Is your religion a private, personal practice, or is it a public declaration of identity? In my case, it's a private, personal practice. Occasionally, I don't mind celebrating something public as long as it is not disruptive or derogatory to anybody else. As long as it's a very inclusive event, then I am okay for a certain limited amount of public declarations, as long as it doesn't impinge on somebody else's space. The second question, are you likely to become violent in the cause of your religion? My personal answer is never. It would be good for you to think what would be your stand on this. The third question is, do you respect other religions and practices? My answer is yes. I also respect the need for a few people to not have any sense of religion or to follow anything. I would be open to the idea of people having their own independence or their own agency in following, allowing or disallowing a religious practice. Question number 4. How does your religion treat the poor, the sick, and the women in your religion? This is such a critical question because almost all religions do not treat the poor very well. In reality, most of our festivals are irrespective of the religion, maybe a fewer deviation, but to a large extent today, religion is an expensive practice and a belief system, and definitely for the planet and for the people. And the women almost invariably are treated very poorly. If you really start then slicing and understanding, it's very easy to go and pull out books and say, yes, I have this, I have that, it's there in my culture, it's there in how we venerate women. But the exact reflection of what your religion actually does is how people from your community or your religion are actually experiencing in daily life or in society. How they are treated is an exact reflection of how your religion looks at them. If they're treated extremely well, in reality, then there is a meaning. If it's just in grand books and, in rituals and in ceremonies and in certain verses, but in reality that they're treated very poorly, then that is the true reflection of how actually your religion looks at the women, the children, or the poor. Question number 5. In what way does your religion teach you the ability to get along with others? It's very critical to ask every one of us to ask ourselves this question. We keep talking that every religion is the same, it all preaches love, and it's about, but really, how or in what way does your religion teach you the ability? It's not just about having quotes or messages. It's really about in practice, are you able to carry the essence from your religion which actually helps you to get along better with others? Question number 6. Do your religious practices actually pollute the environment? If so, how much and how often? This is such an important question because today the population is very high. So everybody has some or the other practice, and everybody wants to also practice their own customs and rituals and whatever it might be. And so now even a private event has actually become a public event because of the sheer numbers. So if every second day we have something and some event and some function or something, and if there is a colossal damage to the environment that we are causing through that, then there's definitely a necessity to think through this, because we, as everybody knows, we are directly impacted by the climate change. How much of the practice of your religion is private and how much of it is public? Like, how much of it is for you? How much of it is it for others? How much of it is for show, in some sense, or to belong, or just because you're scared to stand out alone or whatever? I mean, how much of it is really deeply personal? And does the practice of your religion actually disturb others, say my noise, garbage, holding up traffic, irrespective of which religion it is, and anywhere in the world? These questions are very universal, and they are definitely not targeted at any particular religion. These are questions which every educated person today with a certain personal belief system or allegiance to a religion should be asking themselves, because most of these religions either claim to be timeless or from time immemorial, or have a relatively, a legacy of many centuries. So as people in this modern world today, our question is to ourselves should be, these were started at a period which is not what I'm living in. So how should I translate or this into my daily life today? Question number 9. Would you favor someone merely because they practice the religion that you do? So that's a very critical question. I'm sure it's going to give us a lot of very deep answers. Question number 10. Would you disqualify or disregard someone just because they practice a different faith? Question number 11. How would you behave in a place of worship of another faith? Would you treat it with respect? Would you bargain? Would you be derogatory because it's different from yours? Would you treat every religious place as sacred, or would you treat only yours as sacred? Question number 12. If you're given a ceremonial sacred offering from another religion, what would you do? Would you accept it or would you refuse it? And even if you're refusing it, how would you refuse it? I mean, would you be respectful? Would you be rude? Would you be angry that somebody is giving you something which is different from yours? How really would you treat the ceremonial sacred offering from another religion? And if you refuse another religion's offering, would it be for religious reasons or just because, say, maybe food practice or something, So what would be your reasons for refusing? Sorry. Question number 15. If you're likely to get into, say, a relationship or a friendship with a person from another religion, if you're likely to get into a relationship or a friendship with a person from another religion, how much of space would you actually give them to retain their identity? How much would you claim? Both are critical because it's about how much would you ask them to change or give up what they believe in, and also how much of your belief systems would you be willing to give up or think you will. And it could be a friendship, it could be romantic, it could be anything. It's just about basically how do different worlds connect or operate. And question number 16. If you're proud of your religion, what really are you so proud about? And if you're ashamed of your religion, what are you ashamed about? And when we say ashamed, obviously we come from the context of the fact that most of these religions were set in a very different time frame with very different value systems and societies. And with today, sometimes our interpretations have varied, we have evolved, we have grown, we are educated, we are exposed. So sometimes there are aspects of our religion that we may not necessarily personally endorse. So we could be very proud of certain aspects of our religion, and we could also be ashamed of certain aspects of our religion. So which would that be? And what would you like to stand up for in support of your religion? Because if somebody is going to come and say something just blindly derogatory or something which is very abusive, how would you stand up for your religion, and in what context or what aspects of your religion would you feel so strongly about that you would be willing to stand up and in its support. And so do you have the courage to point out the ills in your religion? And this is irrespective of which religion you might practice. Would you have the courage to say that these aspects of my religion is something that I really cannot stand and it really needs correction? Who do you admire most in your religion? Those who practice it without any question or change, or those who question things wrong with it but choose to pick up something, the best parts out of it, and put only that into practice? Who would be your bigger hero? Like the person who's very orthodox, or the person who is flexible with their religious understanding or evolution, without necessarily compromising on, of course, the core essence of what the religion stands for? And how much of your identity is actually influenced by your religion? Like, are you a person first and then a religious person, or is everything about your identity centered around your religious beliefs or its practice? And very interesting question is, who are you without your religious identity? Like, do you have a sense of self, a sense of persona, a sense of who really you could be, even in terms of the values you stand for, in terms of the courage that you have, in terms of even your engagement with society? Like, if you did not have your religion, then who would you be? So this curiosity to kind of peel off the layers of our identity to know who we could be, because religion, we're born into certain religions, that's the assumption, but we're actually just born. Biologically, we are just born. So everything else is what is covered up, or what we're covered with later. So who are we really if our religious identity is taken off? And is your sense of culture actually linked to your religion, or more through a language or a region or a country? And very critical, are you also okay to let go of your religion? And it doesn't mean I'm not inviting you to do that. It's a question, it's a rhetorical question. So are you okay to let go of your religion? And also, if somebody known to you wants to let go of their religion, how would you engage with those who reject your religion, or who have felt that it no longer fulfills their identity or requirements? How would you treat them? Would you treat them with respect? Would you have understanding? Would you treat it as a violation? Would you get very violent because somebody is rejecting something that you have embraced? What are your exact thoughts on it? See, a lot of these questions we never think about with relation to religion. We are either festival to festival, celebration to celebration, cuisine to cuisine, battle to battle, fight to fight. We are always about these with relation to, of course, also a daily practice of something that gives us joy or peace or connection or maybe a community. But beyond all that, have really put some of these very critical modern questions about religion, about what it means to us, what it means to stand up for it, to practice it, to be able to respect what we would like about our own religions, to be able to talk about it to other people in a healthy way, and to also really engage or embrace other people with regard to their religion, and even to ultimately respect people who really are not even choosing to be bound by their religion or to have an identity through that religion. Now, where would they stand with relation to us? So all of these are, I think, very critical questions to ask ourselves, especially in the chaos and churn that we're seeing around today. What is it? Something very personal? Is my religion my personal idea, my personal salvation, my personal way of connecting to the spiritual? Or is it something more? Is it something that I have to go out there, shout, make rage about, carry angry symbols, have loud ways of celebrating, polluting the environment, and make it into a big battle? Which or what is it for you?